All right, this is Joyce
and Blake,
and welcome to Savagely Scaled. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2024 CrossFit SemiFinals. Brought to you by Joyce and Blake. I just thought it'd be cool to mention that. We're going to provide like a quick little update on who made it past the semifinals and qualified to the next stage. Honestly, most likely speaking to our most favorites, if I'm being honest here, because Blake was she's like
Joyce's favorites.
Well, when I was doing research, I was like, I know that person, I know that guy, I'm gonna put him down.
And I was like looking at everything. I was like, hey, what happened to this person? What happened to this person? She's like, oh, I don't know them.
This is why I have you. You compliment me well. You're the strawberry to my cheesecake.
There we go.
You're like, I don't like strawberry
cheesecake. I like strawberry.
Oh, great. How about the cream to your strawberry?
Cream what?
Cream to your strawberries.
Okay.
Strawberries and cream.
Yeah,
you
I
like
love
that? Okay, there we go.
Let's get into this episode in 3, 2, 1. Go!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this episode, of course, we have our word of the day, and it is bumper plates. They are rubberized barbell plates that allow athletes to drop weights without equipment or people around them.
It's the best thing ever. It gives me so much of a good feeling when I'm able to just drop the barbell. I'm like, yeah.
I know, like when, like anything 25 and above, I'm like, yes.
Right? It feels cool. It's like powerful.
Yeah.
It's like it's a power
and I
play.
used to be scared of that.
What, like the noise or just the feeling of
just like dropping, because I'd be like, wait, we can drop things? Like,
oh, yeah.
But I'd look around and see all the veteran athletes, and I'd be like, oh,
okay.
look how cool they are.
It looks super cool.
I can't do it.
Yeah, it's kind of badass. I appreciate a good barbell drop.
Yeah, so, well, after that.
Right? Let's talk about semifinals.
Yeah, and we'll go over this is like a little mini version of what happened with semifinals. So how many regions are there?
So there's a total of 8 regions for semifinals. Of course, North America is, I would say, the biggest region because it has 2 separate divided sections. They have North America East and North America West. In addition to that, we have Oceania, which of course includes like Australia. What else is in there?
There's...
Help me with my geography.
What are those? It starts
New Zealand?
with an N. Yes, I was like, it starts with an N.
Right?
It ends with a Z. No,
we're
I'm
obviously not the best at geography. Yeah. Not my best subject. And then we have South America. We also have Europe, Asia, and Africa. Yeah, really cool stuff. I was like, I learned a lot just writing this episode out, but I feel like we're so, at least in my bubble, North America is always like the biggest focus when it comes to CrossFit, and that's where most of my athletes come from.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's dig a little deeper. Let's start with North America East.
Okay. And that's the one that I just ended up watching. Like, it took me a little bit longer to watch it because of my kids started swim, working, getting ready for vacation.
Summer.
So. But yeah.
A lot of big names here.
Really big. And I was like, I mean, watching both of North America East and West, I was like, I don't know, like, there's not enough space. There's not enough room for all these people. So there's going to be some like sad people out there.
That's true, because you're going to have to make cuts, obviously, to just, wow.
I know the winners of North America East, that was Jeffrey Adler. And of course, Tia Toomey.
Yes.
I think like she got first, except for one of them, she got third or fourth.
That's insane.
Yeah. So it's just like watching her back because she, she was off last year. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to see her back, and she just made things look so effortless. Mm-hmm. Like compared to the guy's side, there wasn't like, there was a fight between Roman and Jeffrey, or not Jeffrey, Jeff. Jeffifa. So looking at that also with Dallin Pepper and Jason Hopper. So, and Joyce is just like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Danielle Brandon because I'm like, I'm ready to talk about the next ones.
Yeah.
So proud of her.
But she did really good.
She did.
She did not get first in the handstand.
Surprise.
Surprise that she didn't get first.
That is a surprise. Yeah. That's why I'm like, that she should have.
I think she got like 4th or 6th.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Haley Adams. took that event.
Yo, but Haley Adams' comeback this year, though. She came in.
Her fans have lightsabers.
What?
Yes, they all have lightsabers.
Yeah, because she mentioned she loves Star Wars.
And I was like
everything Star Wars.
I want to be there. I want to be there hitting my lightsaber.
And then how could you not root for her having like taken a year off and then coming back and just killing it?
I'm telling you, like watching her, she just looked happy. That last games that she was in, she didn't look happy. She to me, and I know I only get half of it just by watching,
right?
Or not even half, like a quarter. But like when you watch an athlete completely like just deteriorate in like their self-confidence or like how they feel about, you know, working out or going to semifinals or the games, like just watching her in her last games, I was just like, she doesn't look like she's happy doing it. And like watching her in semifinals, like she looks happy doing it. And I don't know if that's like the same with Mal O'Brien. Like those girls were young when they started. They're still young. But I know like the CrossFit community or world was putting so much pressure on them to be the next so-and-so.
Right.
And it was like, Tia's still in the game. We don't know how long Tia's going to be in it because she's retired before and then came back. And,
right.
You know, but they always like put so much pressure. And I think that's also when Matt Frazier left, or even his last year of things. And they were like, oh, Jason Hopper's going to be the next person. Oh, so-and-so's going to be the next person. That put so much pressure on those young guys coming up. And it's like, why are we putting so much pressure? And I think that's what I liked when they would interview them and like, we can see that you guys are bantering back. And they were like, yeah, because like we're trying to bring fun back to this. Like the guys are bantering back with one another. And it's nice because that's what we do in our home gym.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
You know, like instead of putting so much pressure, yes, there's money on the line. Yes, there's all kinds of things. There's sponsorships and these are people's lives. But, like, they also need to have fun. They need to realize why they want to do this.
Right, because it can very quickly become, like, just train, clean eating. Like, I could barely do that for a week, so imagine doing that, like, all year long, for years on end. Yep. Like, it's a hard thing to do, so
even Danielle Brandon looked really good and happy with how she was coming out. Even if she didn't get first in the handstand walk, like, she was in the middle ground, like... There was a couple, and I feel like sometimes with these announcements, when I was watching them, I was like, bro, like, you keep hitting on those certain people, and it's like, see others. And there was one that she was actually doing really good in, and they were just focused on somebody because of, like, points and how, oh, man, they got a no-rep. Oh, man, they got a no-rep. I'm like, she did really good, even with, like, some of the younger ones, and I'm like, they got second.
Yeah.
And I feel like North America East did a little bit better in it, but North America West, there was some that I was like, you guys just missed out on an opportunity. This person has been working, and maybe because like she's part of our where we live, but I was like, she got second in like her event heat. Like,
why didn't we get that?
Yeah, and she's an upcomer. She's new. You know, she's young. She's been doing it since she was, you know, in teens, and it's like,
it's frustrating.
You need to give them dues too. Like they work their butt off in teens and are going up, and I know that we want the bigger names and stuff like that, but it's like, come on.
That's a good point.
Like even for North America East, Brooke Wells was in the first heat on the first day. That's all they talked about.
They were talking about her a lot,
and
actually.
I was like okay, well, you know, like if you don't do well in your quarterfinals and don't listen to the rules, like, you're lucky that you made it. And I get that she's a big name and she's coming back from a lot of things too. But there's other people in that.
Right.
And maybe because they think like, oh, new people, they just know the bigger names. When Dave went to the games, when Haley's gone, when Marley's gone, like I like to watch for them because I know them. You know, I know the big names because I've heard the big names, but it's nice to see like the younger ones or be like, oh my God, they're from like right outside where I used to live. Like how cool. Right? And that's how you start to build like fans. So, I mean, I feel like North America East was a little bit better. Oceania was good with it. But
show us the athletes. That's what we're saying. Show us all the athletes.
But
yeah, I'm happy that she's back. I'm happy Haley's back on that train and doing her thing. And
yeah, she looked really good. I mean, there were a little bit of upsets for, I feel like, a couple of the North America ones, and for North America East, like Saxon Panchik made it, but Spencer didn't.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't on there.
Yeah. I didn't even know, and I think it was Saxon, that he was married and had children. I was like, aren't you a baby?
Are you sad about that?
No, because
he was one of your faves too.
Well, no, Scott Panchik. I like Scott, the older
gotcha.
brother. But like Spencer and Saxon are twins.
Oh.
And I was just like, I remember when they first came to regionals and stuff like that. And it was like, I didn't know you were old enough to be married.
In your eyes.
And have children.
Right. That's crazy.
But yeah, they had Scott Panchik talk a little about like the workouts and how his brothers are doing. And I feel like one of them, he was talking and they were talking about like, oh, how good he was lifting. I think it was Spencer. And you could just like the tension because he missed a rep. So I was like, if I was Scott, I'd be like, oh my God, don't miss it. like, oh man, you guys had to do the close up on that one, didn't
That's so
you?
cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta support each other.
But he didn't say anything whether they cut his mic off. But I was like, man, if I was him, I'd be like, come on, pick it up.
Right. gotta show some love.
Yeah. Another one was Ben Smith. Ben Smith has won the games before, and he was still out there working out. So that's awesome to see, because I know you have Ben Smith. I didn't see Alex Smith this year. Michael Smith made it. He was in the Europe one, and he made it to the games. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, it was good to see. And Alexis Raptis made it. And she's been working her butt off for years too, because she came from the teens scene too. So she's been building up. So it's nice to see that. And I know Brooke Wells did make it also in the cut line. Shelby Neal made it. She's really good. And I remember a couple episodes back when you're like, you need to get like with somebody who has red hair. Shelby Neal has red hair.
Oh, there you go. Did your homework.
So she's been doing, she made it. I know there was an upset. Annika Greer was slowly working up, and it was so heartbreaking to see when she didn't get her name called. She just like, I think the hardest part was just so sad when they work their butt off and then they didn't make enough points, but they tried their best. I know the last event though, like the last event for them was the bike with the muscle ups and then the heavy dumbbell lunges. And like her grip was just giving out, like she couldn't hold on, and you had to hold on. So that could be where like her points didn't really go well. I know
that's horrible.
Jack Farlow, who did really good in the games last year with like a record-breaking lift, he didn't make it.
And those dumbbells were so heavy. It's 70 pounds.
I know.
Girl, how is that possible to walk that much with that much weight? Like I can't.
So Annika Greer missed it by 1 point.
That's evil. That's so evil. I'd be very pissed.
I'd be
like
very
pissed.
The hardest thing. But so those were a couple. I know Amanda Barnhart didn't make it. Fisa Goffi didn't make it, and those are big names. It was really weird to see people
that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, but there are some rookies that made it, which is nice.
Like
one little thing.
When we go to North America West, I'm ready. I'm excited.
One thing that when I saw it, it was bringing me to tears, is Leah Fish. She did absolutely amazing, and there was the snatch ladder, and her heaviest snatch was 160. You had to end the snatch ladder in the women's division at 175, and you had to hit it twice. She hit it.
Whoa.
It was like, I was crying because like you just like, she's competing, she's an athlete, she's been training, but when your heavy snatch is 160 and that's your 1 rep max, and you have to hit 175 twice,
That's crazy.
And you just see like her mom telling her she's got this and that she's strong. And I was just like crying watching this. And I was like, you're strong. You can do it. Please do it.
Like what your mom said. Yeah.
Because then I also go into like, oh man, what if you don't hit it in front of all these people?
Girl, I would have been like, I miss my mom.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So yeah, those were the ones like for East that there was a good point, but there were also some sad points in it.
Oh man.
So moving on to North America West.
Speaking of veterans, would you consider Brett Fikowski being somewhat of a veteran? I think so.
Oh girl, yeah, he's been in it for years.
Girl, and he got second.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
He did. He really worked everything out. Like they call him the professor for a reason, because he can look at a workout and kind of figure how it will be best for him and how he can move up. So he did really good. Justin Medeiros was not first overall. Patrick Vellner was for a little bit. But then he slowly started to creep up, and he just did what he does. Yeah, he just stays consistent, and Brett Fikowski does that as well. And then you have Patrick Vellner.
That's the way to do it.
You have Alex Gazan, made it. Ariel Lohman, Danny Spiegel.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
What?
Girl, like
I always count on my girl. I'm like, she's gonna make it.
She didn't start like really showing until the second day, which is usually moving day, but then the third day as well. Because the third day was the snatches.
I was gonna say she makes up her time with the lifts,
but she didn't win the lift one. Just like I was surprised that Danielle Brandon didn't win the handstand. Danny Spiegel did not win that snatch ladder. Olivia Kerstetter did. Olivia Kerstetter did it in 3 minutes and 58 seconds.
Wow.
Nobody has beaten that.
You gotta love CrossFit, because the people you expect to do good don't, and then it's always just like a wild card.
I know Olivia can lift some stuff, and she's younger. The sad thing is she did not make it.
Ah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for CrossFit, you gotta be a well-rounded.
It is.
You know?
It's
not just if you're good at lifting, you're in. If you're just good at this, you're in. It's like,
and I feel like with this semifinals, because they didn't have a lift max, like this was continuous. You had to every 2 minutes, you had to go up in weight, but the reps went down. So it wasn't like you had 6 minutes to build to a max. So like some people can hit one a couple times, but like your cardio goes up because you had 10 at one weight, then you have 8, then you have 6, then you have 4, and then you have 2. Like your cardio also needs to be conditioned for that.
Right.
But you also have to be a good lifter.
Yeah.
But she just demolished it.
That's crazy.
And I know like it was the last day, so she was trying so hard to get in. And that was the same with Tudor Magda. He was trying to get in too. Like his last one, which was the they also did I think the bike and the muscle ups with the heavy lunge. Like he demolished the time too. He won that event, but because of everything that set into motion with the other events, it didn't get him in.
Man.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like overall, like for these, even for the games, like you have to be consistent. You don't have to win every one. I mean, if you are, then you can only like give like one event away, and you have to still finish in the top like 10.
Yeah.
It's just, again, sad to see. I was really sad to see that Olivia Kerstetter didn't make it. I didn't know Kelsey Keel was individual. I thought she was going back to her team because she usually does teams. So I was like, whoa, she's an individual. She missed it by 2 spots. She got 11th. Olivia got 10th. In North America West, they were only taking 9.
Damn.
So they just
the struggle was real. Yeah.
Barely missed it. But my biggest upset was for Colton Mertens.
Yeah.
Because he won an event. I think he won 2. Damn. And but the rest of them didn't pay to his advantage, and it was sad because even on the snatch one, he did a touch and go on the last set.
What?
Yeah, so Brett Fikowski and him got to the same one. Brett did his first, his single one, because he was doing singles, and Colton did one.
That's what I would do.
And then all of a sudden you just see that he goes back into that, what is it? The hook grip. Mm-hmm. Like he flashes his grip to get back into it, and he hits his like knees a little bit, and he goes back down and does a touch and go and just hits it right back up.
Oh my gosh.
And like Brent like ran across and then made eye contact with him and started laughing because he thought he was going to win the event.
Wow.
So it was
what a badass.
But I was like, man. And it was hard because Cole Sager made it in. Cole Sager's a veteran. And then Cole Griesberger made it in. And then I was like, oh, where's Colton?
This is where you wish that sometimes CrossFit would have an MVP for like semifinals or something. Because some lifts or some like performances are just, they deserve a medal or something.
Well,
like,
he's getting a lot of plays on Instagram.
Oh, well, that helps. That helps.
The other thing that like, when I was looking at, they don't have last chance qualifiers. So they used to have last chance qualifiers. But I don't see that this year. Yeah. So I was like, man,
those are
like
fun to watch
way.
too, because you know people really wanted it.
Oh yeah.
So
it was fun. But yeah, I feel like North Korea East, those were a little bit of the upsets that I was watching again. It was just like crazy. But there was also, like we talked about, some newbies. So for that, who is it? Kira Milligan. She's a newbie, and she made it in. Abigail Dormant made it in. Who else? Sam Quant made it in. Brandon Leckett made it in. Oh, I was so excited for the East one. Travis Mayer made it in, and I've been cheering for Travis Mayer for a long time.
Like nobody believed me.
Yeah, and he made it in, and he's been in CrossFit for years too.
Oh,
so like he's been trying to go to the games and things like
him.
that, and he made it by the skin of his teeth.
Nice.
So it was really cool to see that. With them. Let's see who else. Luke Parker made it in by the skin of his teeth too for East. West, Bethany Flores. Oh, you didn't even put my girl Bethany on
She was
your
on there.
list.
I should have put her on there.
How dare you?
I was like, Blake's got it. She's got her covered.
James Sprague made it in. He did a really good this year because him and Tudor Magna started at the same time. Same with Spencer and Saxon. So he made it again in, yeah, so they were fun to watch. I liked when they used to have different workouts and they would only make them do like 2 of the same workouts across the regions.
Interesting.
But each region had different workouts. I liked that. They've done this for like I think this is their 2nd year, and then they like to be like
most fair though, I feel like, right? Like across the board, keeping the same
workouts.
workouts.
Because then you can go back and be like, oh, nobody did that. You know?
Exactly.
Or even in the teams, all the teams had the same one, and they were they would be like, oh, the one in Oceania still has the record.
Right.
Which Noah's team made it through. I believe Chandler Smith's team made it through. Cara Saunders' team made it through.
I like watching Chandler Smith. He's fun to watch too.
He is. But I was talking to somebody, and when I was watching his row, they're like, did you see his row? And I was like, I don't think so. And they're like, dude was laying flat. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to rewatch that. Yeah. And he was. I was like, I'll get every pull in.
I'm going to try that technique next time.
My back can't handle it. Oceania was fun to watch. I like watching them because when I used to watch them, back in the day, like 2015, 2016.
Back. Less than 10 years.
They always wear pink on a certain day, and I've talked to Joyce about this too. It's for Hannah Clark. Hannah Clark was in a domestic violence relationship, and so out there they wear pink, and they've been doing it since you know, doing regionals or sanctionals or anything out there. And it's like even the judges wear pink or paint their fingernails pink. People dye their hair pink. The athletes all wear pink.
Yeah, it's like a tradition.
Yes. And this has, you know, this case was years ago. So they still bring that to, you know, to everybody's...
like to the semis, I guess, or...
Well, they bring it to everybody's like knowledge of like, hey, if you need help, this is what happened. And it was because she was part of a CrossFit community out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she did CrossFit and she was part of a community. And so I think just Oceania just brought it upon themselves to like be like, hey, we're still going to make this known and that it's not okay. And
that's awesome.
You know, I think it's to bring awareness. I think it's very cool.
That is really neat.
So I love watching them. I mean, I love watching Cara Saunders. I think that I loved watching teams even more with her because I feel like she looks so real. Like most, no joke, like most of the women who work out, I feel like you can't even tell they worked out. Like their hair's still in place. They look like they worked out. They're sweaty and everything, but everything's still in place. And I think Haley Adams kind of has this, like where her hair's like everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Haley's one of those.
But like Cara Saunders, her hair was like always like misshapen, or like she looked like she went through a workout, and I'm like, that's exactly how I look. Yep. And I love people who look that way. No shame to anybody who could keep their hair in place and still work out and look good. Like that's something.
Kudos to you, girl.
Yeah, but I'm not saying these people look bad, but it just makes me feel like they are human and they look just like me in a workout. I mean, most people at the gym are probably like, you wish they looked like you. Or you wish that you looked like them.
Keep dreaming, sister. Keep
you
dreaming.
look like a worse hot mess than they do.
They're like, oh, you're really going through stuff.
Yeah. But Ricky Garrard made it.
Very controversial athlete.
Yeah. I remember the one with the double unders between him and Jay Crouch, and Jay Crouch smashed it. And from then on, Ricky was not holding back. Like, he didn't hold back in the running one with the clean and jerks, but man, they were like, he does not look happy that he lost.
Oh, he's competitive.
That one.
That's crazy.
So he was very competitive. Then you have Grace Walton that got first in that. But the biggest one is Maddie Sturt. She's been working her butt off too for seasons. Not that, Grace hasn't, but she's been working, very well. And, people can say, oh, it's because Cara's not there. Tia's not there. There's another one. She's dating Justin Medeiros. I always forget her name.
I could find
Ellie Turner.
I like Ellie Goulding.
Yeah. I was about to say, Ellie Turner's not there, but she has and you can see that she's grown in her lifts. She's grown in her workouts. So it's going to be fun to see her at the games.
It happens when you date one of the fittest men on earth.
I know. Then you have South America. Guy.
Yes, I can never. I'm so sorry. I can never pronounce his
Yeah, I just say Guy.
People just say Guy.
And Victoria. Guy did really good, of course, in the lifting. Come on,
that man is impressive.
And it just looks so
he's happy all the time. Yeah,
he is. He's just like, hey,
and he just had a baby, I think, too.
Yeah,
not that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. How did he have the baby?
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. He helped. Okay.
Well, yeah, he helped make that baby.
Yeah, he helped.
That
real
baby's
good.
probably gonna be really cute
and strong.
Yeah. Then you have the Europe one, of course, Laura Horvath and Gabriella Magala.
Yeah.
And then you have Leza Dukic and a couple other ones that were there. Of course, Hoste. Sorry if I'm not saying these.
Hostess snacks.
Yeah, not saying these right at all. But Jacqueline Dahlstrom made it too. Emma McQuaid. She's been working her butt off for years too. All these people work their butts off, but I mean, actually, they gain their butts by working out. They don't come off.
Hashtag goals.
But I remember when, what's her name? Briggs. What's her
Sam
first
Briggs?
name? Yeah, Sam Briggs. Mm-hmm. Sam Briggs, she was amazing, and she did it for years. You do. And her and Emma McQuaid, they used to help each other out. So to see Emma qualify again, you have Emma Tall, Corinne Freyova. She's been doing it for a while. Judith Upkins, Harry Lightfoot, and again Michael Smith for when that France throwdown came. But the biggest upset is BKG didn't make it in. Don't look at me like you don't know who BKG is. Not. He trains with
It sounds like a shoe brand or something.
BKG. Well, because I'm not going to say his full name. Because he's known by BKG, but he trains with Annie.
Oh, really?
And Iceland.
Oh, I think, is it Bjorkvin
Yep.
K. Gugumundsen?
Yep.
What a hot name.
Right?
I want that last name. Gudmundsson. It wasn't the guy I was thinking.
No, I
Wait.
don't think he did too.
Yeah, but he is still handsome.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, but BKG didn't make it in.
Man.
I think BKG and Cole Sager have been doing it like the most, or gone to the games the most.
That speaks levels, though. Being able to still make it, or
And
even
Cole
just
Sager
like
just
qualify.
almost didn't make it.
Man,
And I was like,
that's impressive.
First of all, why do we have all the Coles in one setting? Because there was Cole, Colton, like.
It's like
Can
the
we
Chris
spread them
scenario.
out? Yeah. We spread them out, please.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and then we have Asia for Ivan and Sayer. And
believe
Africa
so.
is Ruan and Gemma.
Yeah, we're so sorry if we're butchering names here.
Yeah. But overall, I like cornered Joyce and was like, "Did you watch the semifinals?"
I was like,
And
"No,
she's
I
like,
did not."
"No." And I was like,
Just a few,
"How
sparingly.
dare you? Like, gosh darn these kids who just watch things on, Instagram for the highlights."
Oh my goodness. Yes, I did. I do
I'm
like
like,
highlights. I
there's
used to
so-
watch it, but
There's so many big names that you can't watch the highlights.
girls gotta work.
I just put on YouTube and edit and listen and edit and listen. But yeah, you can't.
Girl, I wish.
or
But I
the
saw a few.
weekends.
I saw a little bit here and there when I was in the gym too, and people were playing it on. And I was like, I think the one I liked to watch was the 800-meter run with the clean and jerks.
I like that one too.
Yeah. I felt like it was a nail biter because people were so close and next to each other on the clean and jerks. And it was just like a one clean and jerk advantage from one over the other. And I was like,
Yep.
That's the parts that I love the most, where it's like a close call.
I liked that one. I did like a version of it because I can't run right now. So I did bike and I did dumbbell clean and jerks. And I really liked it. And then I did like my own version of the rope climb
do
one.
the workouts. Those are fun. Have you ever tried doing it?
I'm sorry. I don't
legless?
think you can do workouts. You went to lifting.
Yeah.
So how are we even going to do content with working out?
What? We didn't even have the fishbowl yet.
I was going to get it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
then I'll fit it in there somewhere.
No,
I'll have to make it happen.
You have to talk to him. You cannot.
Or what
fit
if
in.
I'm just like doing the
I will get
stretching
yelled at.
version? Okay, I'll figure it out.
You have to talk to
I
him.
will.
Yep, because I will get yelled
Well,
at.
when you get the fishbowl, we'll get it started.
Okay. Because
Deal.
I literally went to Walmart and I was like, wait a minute. And I was in the fish aisle and I went,
Did they have
"Oh,
fish bowls?
Yeah, they had little
plasticky
ones.
ones?
And I
Okay.
was like, wait a minute. She just went to lifting. She's probably not going to be able to work
I'm
out.
starting Monday. We have to do the workout right now. I'm sure I could ask him like, hey, I need to squeeze this in somewhere. Like, when's that going to happen? And I'm probably going to be horrible at it, but it's okay.
Yeah, I do. We'll
or you
figure
could
it
do
out.
one of my
We'll figure it
programming
out.
episodes.
But I did another one with it was bike, and then I did rope climb. I didn't do legless because I'm just getting back into rope climbs. And then I did box jump overs.
Okay.
And then I didn't do the rope climb going back. I just did
I
one.
saw that. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing it going back.
I hate that when they put the workout at the end when you're already super exhausted and you have nothing left.
Yep. So I just like made it my own and
That's good.
did like part of it, and it was like a really fun workout for me.
yeah. I liked,
It was hard,
They weren't
but it was
bad.
really fun.
It's just the time caps, man.
I know, but like watching them, like you knew that they could hit it.
Well, yeah.
I don't think a lot of
Normal
them.
human being.
Yeah, a lot of them didn't get time capped. Like maybe like a handful of them
That's insane.
that I watched. Like even in the snatch ladder one, like there was only a few that didn't hit it.
Girl, I'm baffled every year. at
Haley
just
hit it.
The capabilities of these people.
Yeah, Haley Kanthak hit the last two. Yeah,
Well, she's
she
a
did
great
it.
weightlifter,
Yeah. So like I
That's
was like,
cool.
I feel like everybody was this year. It was very like even played out. Like you throw Tia Toomey in there, yeah. But everybody else, I felt like it was very
On their
evenly
game.
stacked. Like
Yeah.
you did not know. Like the top 5 you kind of did, but like even last year when Will Morad, I think on the last workout made up 76 points or something like that. and knock somebody out. Like, you can make it up. So, like, I feel like
that's the scary part of CrossFit.
Top 5 are always safe.
That it's all points based. You just need to be strategic and you
how
can do
you
it.
do, like, you don't have to win everyone, but you do have to be in the top. You just need to stay up there.
Yep. And that's enough.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I love watching the semifinals. I usually like watching them the day after. So, like, when Friday hits, I usually watch it on Saturday so I can fast forward through things.
Yeah, instead of having to wait on the live feed until it's ready.
because the breaks are so
like 2 hours
long. Because I don't just, like, fast forward to, like, the main, like, the last
workout.
heat. I watch, like, all of them because there's still some, like, upcomers that I watch. You know, and then I also like to listen to the commentators because sometimes they get the names wrong. And
I kind of fast forward to the.
Or I'm like, that's what you talked about.
I'm like, fast forward to heat number 5. Thank you.
Yeah. There was one though, like for East, there was Gordon Lake was on one, and I think he was watching teams, and it was like the first event, and they were talking to him, and he was just talking about like a big thing about like technique and how we need to, you know, reiterate that the only way to build is to build your technique, you know, and you cannot go up until that technique is on point. And I'm like, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You know, so it was, some of them I like too. And then Scott Panchik was in one of them to talk to people. Noah Olson was on to talk to people, or with the. Well, I don't know. I liked, they have a new, I think she's new. Her name's Bailey. I think it's Bailey Martin. She was a commentator on the floor. I really liked her actually, because some of them I don't really care for. Adrian Conway's okay. I just feel like he's always upbeat and the person with him is not as upbeat. And he's just like, yeah, man, this is what's going on. And oh, wow. And it's just like,
you're like, these people didn't mesh well, so hire Blake.
Yeah.
Blake Walker's ready and available.
And then you always have Sean. Sometimes Sean in the past has let me down.
You would be great as a commentator.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
And then I would mess up everything. They'd be like, see, it's not as easy, is it, Blake?
You're like, at least I bring the charisma to the show.
Or when somebody, like, by me who, like, I, you know, idolize, I'd be like, we should watch. Do you know who that person is? Yeah.
Like, Joycey. Yeah. Like, you're fangirling right now. You're like, tone it down.
Yeah. Like, you can stop staring at them. It's so hard.
She's touching my leg. Yeah. She's touching my knee.
No, I would probably sit there and be like, so what brought you to CrossFit? Like, I want to know everything about you.
Yeah,
and they're like,
I do.
It's the semifinals. I would not be touching them.
I mean,
that would be you. She'd be like, no, Blake's
are you thirsty?
Blake's not
do you
the
want some
toucher.
water?
I am.
Your hair looks parched.
Your hair looks parched. Do you need a shower?
I can help with that.
Oh my God.
We're in trouble.
No, there's just like some of them that I don't know. And I know that they have the, who's the newer one? We've talked about her. She's in Lauren Kill was on there. I kind of liked her.
Yeah.
She's okay. Like I was just telling you, she reminds me of a beefed up version of Candace Cameron. Like, to me, she looks like Candace Cameron, just like Candace Cameron did CrossFit for 10 years.
All right, I can see that.
Yeah. So, her and I think Bailey Martin was the other. But she's like the new one that goes on the floor, because they used to have a couple of them too. They usually had the women down on the floor. Yeah. And then the men up in the box. But now
doing the commentary.
Lauren does the play-by-play up in the box as well. Yeah, there was one year, probably a couple of years ago, that they were getting everybody's name wrong, finishing times wrong. Like,
no.
They would have the camera on the person. You'd be like, I know that's literally not the person. But I mean, I mess up our podcast. I can edit it. It's not live, so.
Yeah, I feel like until very recently, CrossFit has become much more of a, I guess, televised and. Yeah. I guess sport. I feel until very recently. So, I mean, we just got into ESPN not that long ago, so they're still very green when it comes to recording, I feel. Yeah. Because I'm with you. There have been instances where they're like, just Tia. And then I'm like, the first person just went by and we're still looking at Tia. And we totally missed the win. Like, I don't know.
It is.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I'm like, come on. Like, do not make it that kind of sport where we're just worried about the top 3 all the time. Because that's also pressure for them to always do that. And it, yes, it's their livelihood for most of them, but they still need to have a good time with it.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of CrossFit, is the inclusivity of it. And this is why we have so many like regions and things, because it's like we want everyone to have an opportunity to, be on the podium, whether you're a veteran or not,
Yeah. But it's also fun because I've seen a couple of the judges I've seen for years, and there's this one guy with this really long beard and he's bald on top, and I'm like, man, still going strong.
Right? They should have a judge of the games or something.
He goes to the games too. Oh. I've seen him. He's a judge at the games. He's a judge in semifinals and things like that. I'm like, man, what is his name?
Right?
Because I'm like, you start to see like similar ones, and I'm like, he's been doing that for years. And there's a couple of the girls or ladies that I've seen, I'm like, man, they've been judging for years.
That's awesome.
I would love to know his name.
There you go.
And also like sit down with him and be like, hey.
What is it like judging some of the best athletes?
What made you want to do that? Because I would completely like throw up.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be fun to try. Maybe for an easy workout. Something where I only have to look at the row, and then after the row, they just have to do like no lifting stuff, because that would just be.
So I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But then I have contacts, so sometimes the fans dry him out. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, did it make it?
I dropped all over the place.
Yeah. But there was, the other cool thing to see, especially for the teams, like, and this was like all over the semifinals, a couple of the teams, like when they would get no rep, like there's been years past when I've seen them like really get into the judge and ask why, and or not even ask why, just yell at them. But like what I was seeing across the board this season was what they were saying, what are you looking for that we're not doing? So the judge would tell that one person while the other ones were doing. And I was like, that takes a lot out of the athlete, instead of blaming the judge, because we're all human. We count differently. We see things differently. Though there were some calls where I was like, that did look below parallel. To me, it didn't look iffy, but I wasn't there. So,
it's hard to make those calls.
Yeah. And I know that they have like a head judge on there that will go by, and if they see something, they'll go to that judge and be like, hey, you need to like, or they'll be like, no rep, and go into it. Wow. But I just thought it was like really cool that the athletes were actually taking it upon themselves to reiterate and ask.
That's true.
Because like even
you could save more time that way if you just,
our little competitions that we've gone to, or any competition that I've gone to, like we always like meet our judge, and then they go over like the workout, and as a judge, I'm always like, do you have any questions? Mm-hmm. Do you know the standards that I'm looking for? And if I'm being judged and I'm always like, okay, am I allowed to show you a rep? Is this okay? Are you looking for this? Or when you get no rep, I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
That's
true.
I also am not competing for, thousands of dollars. But,
fair.
And I can take the time to be like, hey, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
But usually before, and I've seen this, like when they're like, hey, is that okay if I touch that button? Is this my lane? Will the pieces be moving, or do I have to move them? Because sometimes like the little pieces to know which round you're in, the judge moves, and sometimes the athlete has to move it. So even though like they probably get a debriefing, just like we give debriefing to our athletes, when you get on like the main floor, I'm sure there's jitters, and you just want to make sure that everything's in line and you understand the direction, and your judge understands the direction that you need to go into. And
I always appreciated that when I went into competition, and you guys would be like, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this, make sure you're doing those things, and then you'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. So that's good.
But I just love watching the semifinals. Just like I love going to the gym when people qualify for quarterfinals, or when Dave would qualify for things. Loved going and watching him. It's just like the competition and the drive that everybody has.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun being in that energy also. So # hopefully one day we'll have the goal of going to one of the games, or just seeing a semifinal. I would love to
volunteer.
Right?
Yeah, you guys need me to volunteer. I know there's an application, and sometimes you have to get drawn to volunteer. Like, hey, you need me to dance it out there? Halftime show.
Bring an entertainment into the CrossFit Games.
Yep.
Oh my God. I could imagine you jumping out there with a little leotard.
I was like, yeah, what? No. I was all for it until my brain clicked on leotard.
Well, should it be a weightlifting outfit instead?
No, I don't want any of that. I rather wear like a sequence outfit than like a leotard or a singlet.
Itchy. That sounds absolutely horrible.
Little shing 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 shing.
That sounds itchy.
With the cloth underneath, not like back in the day, like the 90s and early 2000s, where you just fill the sequence
it on the side.
Yeah, no.
I remember those days.
Let's do some old lady stuff and just get some like not near the arms.
Right, girl. You already know. We've been there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thank you everyone for allowing us a chance to talk a little bit about the semifinals this year.
It's supposed to be a mini episode.
Sorry. I know. We went a little hard there, but it was fun, Thank you thanks to all the athletes, who are out there kicking butt and representing all of us CrossFitters out here. It's been a lot of fun seeing you guys, sweat it out and make it to the next stage. I'm excited for the games.
I know, I'm excited for the games, and I can't believe we have to wait until August.
I know. It's kind of like the Netflix show where you're like, I know it's coming, and then I have to just like build the anticipation. But we got to give our athletes some rest time. They just did the semis.
Well, they get to train a little bit more. I know with the last one with North America East, Luke Parker, who made it by the skin of his teeth, he actually is expecting in August. His wife is giving birth in August, so he might need to step down, but he also has a good mentor in Travis Mayer, and Travis Mayer has a couple kids and an awesome wife. And
there you go.
Yeah.
So, and every great man is a great woman.
That's the reason why we can't go to the regionals or games, because I'm popping out babies. No.
Oh man.
Yeah. A big thank you to my co-host. This episode was written by myself and Joycey, edited by us, and a shout out to you guys for listening.
Right.
Thank you so much for listening to these episodes. And if you have any recommendations or any questions that we can answer for you, please feel free to reach out to us. Our music is from SoundCloud and Upbeats, and our findings were from CrossFit.com. And me watching YouTube.
Yep, mostly.
And again, if you want to reach out to us, our email is
Savagelyscaled@yahoo.com
and at
Savagelyscaled1@gmail.com.
And you can reach out to us on Instagram and TikTok at
Savagelyscaled.
Yeah. And please review, share. If you want to write a review, go on Apple Podcasts, because those are the ones that we can read. And I love to read them and shout you guys out.
Shout out to Coach Amanda too for putting up that post. Was it on Apple?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we shouted her out last.
Well, shout out again, because she deserves a second shout out.
We also love when you share our stuff.
I know, that's what I was gonna say.
It's awesome that our gym mates do that, or when we walk into the gym and they're like, hey, I really like that episode.
Right?
And of course, Chris Simmons giving us ideas for episodes.
Huge help.
Yes. Very, very helpful. But thank you guys. And
until we meet
at the whiteboard again.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody's like, open.